It's now time for Remember When with Uncle John. John Guess, Ouachita County's resident storyteller and local historian. Sit back now and enjoy a walk down memory lane as John recalls the days of yesteryear in his own unique way. You never know, some of it might even be true. So here's Uncle John, along with his trusty sidekick, Kelly Blair.
Back on Remember When with Uncle John. Well, here's one of my favorite days of the week. If it is the middle part, that means it is Wrestling Wednesday around here on the Remember When with Uncle John show. Who we got today, Johnny?
Well, yesterday we were honoring three of the greats on their birthday in baseball.
Right. In baseball, right.
And today we're going to honor one of the greats in wrestling.
Okay.
Loverboy Dennis Condrey.
Oh, yeah, man. One half the Midnight Express.
Born February the 1st, 1952. Making him 71 years old today.
There you go.
71 years old.
I tell you what, I used to absolutely hate Dennis Condrey. I mean, I had no respect, and furthermore, I had no respect for him. I thought he was a bum. I didn't think he was any good, all that kind of stuff. Then when you grow up and you understand a little bit more about the wrestling business, he was an outstanding heel. He could make the baby faces look so good and so legitimate. He would sell for them. He was mean as a snake. He made you believe he was out there beating those guys up. And quite honestly, he did it without talking. He was not a great talker.
No, but when he did talk, it was always amusing.
Well, that's true.
Because he would get his words all crossed up and everything. But he was a typical wrestler with a manager where he didn't speak much.
He had to have a mouthpiece, and boy, did he have a mouthpiece in Jim Crockett.
Born in Florence, Alabama. He started out with. Of course, you got those wrestlers that are tag team specialists.
Yes.
And he's one of them.
Yep.
Single matches didn't amount to nothing.
Had a little single success. I think he was Alabama heavyweight champion
but
one time.
But tag team, you got those wrestlers who are tag team specialists, and he's one of them.
Yep.
Of course, he wrestled with Phil Hickerson forever.
For a long time.
And, in the Continental Wrestling Association. And then he started the Midnight Express, the original Midnight Express with Randy Rose and Norvell Austin.
Now, this was a trio, not just a duo, but a trio.
And then, of course, he ventured off into the NWA and started the new version with Bobby Eaton, with James E. Cornette as their manager. And I'm telling you, of course, Bill Watts put them together. And I'm telling you, they struck gold.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jim Cornette is one of those, and there'll never be another one.
No.
The Jim Cornettes of the wrestling business are never going to come along again.
Well, they won't even hardly put managers out there anymore. I don't understand that.
But the guy lived, breathed, ate, slept, drank, lived wrestling.
Look what Paul Heyman does for Roman Reigns and all that. You can't tell me there's not a place in wrestling for managers anymore? I'm sorry, go ahead.
But then, they started the feud with the Rock and Roll Express, and as they say, the money just grew out of the ground.
The rest is history, and that history is still going today.
And when it took off, it took off like a rocket. Mm-hmm. And then out of the clear blue, in 1987, he dropped Bobby Eaton off one night at his room. They never heard from him again. I
never understood that.
And he didn't give NWA any notice. He didn't give any of them any notice. That was just it.
Well, I even heard Jim Cornette talk about he didn't give them any notice. It's like they showed up to the arena the next day, and it's like, where's Dennis? I don't know. You just talk to Dennis? I hadn't seen Dennis, And all these years later, he went back on a podcast and said he never did understand why Dennis just up and left. But he said that was just kind of Dennis.
He went to the AWA and reunited with Randy Rose, and they got Paul E. Dangerously as their manager. And, of course, then they went through that, where they came down and attacked, the other Midnight Express,
calling themselves the new Midnight Express.
Midnight Express, But a tag team specialist, a top-notch, top-quality, blue-collar man's, everyday wrestler, not a bodybuilder, not a big steroid guy, not a big mouth guy, but somebody that got the job done in the ring. He retired. His last match, October the 15th, 2011, with one of the Mulkey brothers, with Bill Mulkey.
Wow.
And I think he makes the autograph circuit, and all that, and does the Comic Cons and all the conventions and stuff. But one heck of a great tag team wrestler.
He was a good hand, man, because he could get in there and he just looked mean, man. I remember him gouging eyes and pulling on people's lips, and he looked like he enjoyed beating people up.
But when he did speak, it was always entertaining.
There you go.
And he was really comical to listen to. I've gone back and looked at some of it on YouTube. The little bit that he does speak is worth watching.
Absolutely. There you go. Hey, that's going to wrap up Remember When with Uncle John here for today. But we do want to thank ProMed Ambulance Service, the Shopper's Guide, Sherwin-Williams House Paint for being our wonderful sponsors. And we want to remind everybody, be sure and catch up with our podcast. I guess we'll see you tomorrow, John.
See you tomorrow, Kelly.
You've been listening to Remember When with Uncle John on Y95. This broadcast can be heard each weekday morning at 6:45 on South Arkansas's favorite station, Y95.